It gives me great pleasure at this time to welcome back onto the program Alabama softball coach Patrick Murphy. Murph, welcome back and welcome to really the start of a 2020 season that amazingly, if my math is correct, we're less than a month away from first pitch for you guys in the 2020 campaign. Murph, can that be true?
Yeah, I think it is, because I think it's February 7th. So what is today, the 8th? Yeah, so I think we have 21 days of practice before we go down to Tallahassee to play North Carolina and Florida State.
I'll say this, Murph, the chocolate lady and I, it was such a beautiful day on Sunday over the weekend. We were just out riding around that campus, and it's easy to do. I mean, with the way the campus is set up now and the beautification that's taken place here in the last decade or so, it's a nice, fun drive around the UA campus. But we pulled into that parking lot there at Rhoads Stadium. They were working for the weekend. It looked like, and trying to get those enhancements done. Kind of give us an idea where that stands right now and what fans can expect, because it looks like it's going to be just an incredible additions, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and, I was up there on a Saturday night just kind of driving around just like you guys, and there was a gentleman sitting by his truck in the parking lot, and I, kind of pulled up to him and said, "Everything okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, I just finished some things," and he said, "I got a crew of 4 coming tomorrow," which was a Sunday, to try to finish up some stuff. So they're working like crazy. It's a $3 million project, and I guess I'll start with new concessions, restrooms, and a ticket gate, more kind of farther out near the Brickyard. So all the Brickyard people will have a little closer spot for concessions and restrooms, and that's going to help us tremendously, because I think the only time I've really seen the lines is one time we scrimmaged Team USA, and it was an all-star team. It wasn't really my team. So I got to kind of go in the crowd and say hi to everybody and go get a Diet Coke, and I go back behind the press box, and there's 14 people in line at every window, and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. So I think Mr. Byrne is really heavy into the fan experience, which is cool as an athletic director, and I think he saw that we needed to do a better job, especially with, we have some really good opponents coming in. We're playing the Olympic team this year, and then the big one was we're hosting the SEC tournament. So all those fan amenities is going to be great. We actually have an umpire locker room. They needed a place to put all their gear, shower after the games, and so that was an addition. Stephanie Prothro, she's getting a new bullpen on our side of the field, expanded, nice. Added another pitching rubber to the lanes, so there's 3 lanes instead of 2. The press box, which you'll like, getting an overhaul. The whole inside is moved a couple things around, not a lot, but added a little room for our marketing and our PA announcer, because they were really, really tight in the little room that they were in. But the whole thing is getting a makeover in terms of desks and chairs and carpet and paint. All the graphic, all the signage, all will be brand new. Our clubhouse is getting renovated, so the inside of the clubhouse, we're going to have an open house for our fans and boosters probably later in the spring, so they can come in and see all the new stuff. We're going to add 5 more parking spots to the front of our building, because when we started, there was really only 3 coaches and 3 full-time people that worked for softball. And since then, we've added about 3 other full-time people. And then when we have media days, you guys, have a tough time parking, so you guys can use those spots as well. And that'll help us out a lot, because it's just kind of been a pain in the butt, because everybody's had to park down below and walk up the hill. But there was about 7 or 8 things that really needed to be done, and we got them all checked off the list. And then the other good thing is, I was talking to Max Holcomb, is like the supervisor of everything, and Keith Holcomb's older brother, and he said they were on schedule. So should be around February 1st, and they have a 3-week cushion, because we don't have a home game till the 21st. So either way, we would play because there's really nothing on the field. They're not tearing apart the field. So it would just be, something that's maybe not working or not ready, but we'll be able to play.
Speaking of construction, an off season is when you try to put together that next club. Fortunately for you, a lot of run production returning in terms of offensive prowess from last year's team. Veteran club in a lot of ways from that perspective. When you talk about the circle, I mean, Murph, you guys are going to look kind of like that Braves rotation from years ago. Maddox, Glavin, Smoltz. I know you don't like to hear that, but I'm just, it's hard to ignore.
I love to hear that.
You like to hear that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But you do have some issues. Claire Jenkins, we know, with the injury in the offseason.
Yeah.
And then, Reagan Dykes behind the plate, a couple of areas right up the middle where I know you had to address.
Yeah, Claire was the sad news of the fall. It was a practice situation, and unfortunately, as every Bama fan knows, injuries are part of athletics, unfortunately. So she's going to redshirt, and we'll probably move Skylar over to shortstop. And then we have a couple candidates at second base, and hopefully they'll fill in that spot because Skylar did a great job at second base. And then catcher, we have a freshman, Carla Heiss, and then Bailey Hemphill also caught. So we're trying to see who's best with those four pitchers, which you mentioned. And, we had our first team meeting yesterday, and I said, every one of those kids, those four pitchers, could be a number one anywhere else. You have Sarah Cornell, Crystal Goodman, Montana Fouts, and then a freshman that you're going to really like is Alexis Kilfoyle from Florida. So, we have a four-headed monster, and, the big key is to play for each other and, be as happy for a teammate's success as if you did it yourself, and get rid of the envy, get rid of the jealousy, and really, realize that whoever takes the mound, they should have a fresh arm this year. Nobody should go out to the mound, and that's kind of on me too, thinking, God, my arm is tired, or I got a dead arm, or, whatever. There should never be any overuse of anyone. We have 4 games the first weekend, and I could see everybody getting a start. 4 games, 4 starters.
Wow.
See how everybody does. So it's just going to be fun to watch all of them, and then the combos too. Maybe some kid goes 5 innings, some goes 2, and then the combination of the 2, see who works best with each other. Kilfoyle has a hell of a changeup. Her and Goodman probably have the 2 best changeups between the 4. So I could see, mixing Montana with a changeup or Sarah with the other changeup, and make somebody try to hit hard for 4 or 5 innings, and then come in and try to hit a changeup for 2. So, and then you mentioned the offense. One kid that I don't know if you got to see her this fall, but I think that she's going to have a heck of a year. Is that Alexis Mack, who transferred in from Oregon as a grad transfer, and she has just been one of the hardest workers, most consistent, most intensive kids that I've ever had. Just
wow.
She wore out a manager too, because a manager we have can pitch batting practice, and I think every time I drove by, even on an off day, the window or the lights were on in the hitting facility, and it was her and the manager hitting off hours. So she's going to be special. And between her and Alyssa Brown, I told them yesterday too in front of the whole team that those are the 2 fastest kids in college softball, and they're both going to be wearing crimson and white, which is really cool. And I could see both of them having 50 or more stolen bases.
And that's before we get to Maddie Morgan being back. You mentioned Skylar Wallace, KB Sides,
Kaylee
Tao, Bailey Hemphill. I mean, come on now, Murph. You know me. I like to try to talk you into letting some of these two-way players, these utility-type players like Kilfoyle, hit in addition to pitch. Yeah. But you don't have to. It doesn't look like you have to with what you've got offensively.
I want to see her hit, though. She's going to be special.
Okay,
She's got some pop.
Good. Okay, so she will hit some in addition to pitching.
Yes, sir.
All right. I tried to talk you into that with Montana Fouts last year. You You were 1,000% correct on that one, but interesting. Look forward to seeing Alexis Kilfoyle in a couple of different ways in 2020 with this club. Hey, Murph, we're going to get out of here, but as always, we appreciate the time, and we certainly look forward to catching up with you again real soon.
Okay, tell your family I said hi.